So my name is Angie Plummer, and I'm the Executive Director at CRIS, Community, Refugee and Immigration Services, and I've been Director since 2003. CRIS has resettled over 5,000 individuals to Columbus, directly from overseas. I've been working with refugees for almost 18 years, and during that time I've had the opportunity to listen to a lot of heartwarming but heart-wrenching stories. And when I hear about the risks that people are taking, I'm often left thinking there's got to be a better way. I've sat there and wondered, could I have done it? Could I have left everything that I know, my home, my culture, my work, and started completely over again? Could I leave my children behind, knowing that I might never see them again? The stories that I hear demonstrate the profound human capacity to hope and take risks based on that hope. I didn't think I could do these stories justice, and it's not my story to tell. It really needs to come from the refugees themselves. It's important that you hear directly from the refugees. Meet Amina, Waleed, David, and Jhuma. They're a diverse group that literally traveled very different paths to the U.S., but who all faced substantial risk on their journeys here.
My name is David. I left Uganda May 2014. That's my birthplace. But I was in a refugee camp in Kenya. Kenya is neighboring Uganda. The government does not want the world to know that Uganda has gays. That is that is the main theme of it. So anyone who comes out to say Uganda has gays and lesbians is already a threat to the nation. So I was involved in a project that was to record the abuses against the LGBT persons. When the bill was passed that criminalized acts of homosexuality into life in prison, we turned our collections into a book. The authorities in Uganda were aware of the book. I was arrested. They placed charges on me for promoting homosexuality. If I was to be convicted for promoting homosexuality, I would serve 14 years in prison. They were also to charge me with economic sabotage, which is some sort of an equivalent to treason, and the maximum sentence is a death penalty. So during that process, it's when the Netherlands embassy in Kampala helped me to escape to neighboring Kenya. And they connected with the United Nations. Yeah, that's when I first became a refugee in my lifetime. I still had the mind, Kenya is near Uganda, and the governments of Kenya and Uganda collaborate. So the government of Uganda can tell the government of Kenya, somebody is on your territory, can you please extradite that person to us? So they kidnap you, take you when the United Nations is not aware. So when I first came to Columbus, I was still with that trauma. When moving on the streets, I could look behind to see if somebody is near me. I could like that. You know that sense of feeling unsafe. I had it. It was too much in me. But then with time, I got to overcome that. I got to know that now I'm in a free place. That now there is no one who can maybe kidnap me or do anything to me. So I overcame even all that fear. There is a lot of freedom and for people to live their lives. So, yeah, I hope my family will join me one day.
magacayga waxa way Amina Ali waxaan ka imaaday Somalia waxaan ku noolaa Uganda waxaan ka imid Uganda waxaan imid Mareykan 2013 bishii labaad waxaan ku soo degay Utah waxaan joogay hal week tan waxaan imid Columbus Somalia colaad ee dib ka jira dadkii oo kala qaxay oo soo tagay Somalia ilaaha oo horta waxay ku dhici lahaa qarasti laakiin dadka dumarka la xoogayay waa la jirdilayay marmar guriga isaga jiraa waxa laga yaabaa in hoobiyo kugu dhaco familka idinkoo kala maqan laga yaabaa familka inay dhintaan ama ay dhimatay dhibaataas ay soo kaxaysan Columbus waxaan la imid ani iyo cunug yar oo dhalay waxaan uga soo tagay 4 cunug iyo odaygaygi cunug ugu weyn wuxuu jiray markaas 12 sano waxay jirtay 11 10 iyo hal bil familkayga marka hore waa kala maqneen ani iyo ninkayga marka duruuf ay ka soo kaxaysay ciyaalkayga dhibaato badan wallahi horta marka hore waa go'aansaday inaan ka soo tago dhibka jira awgeed laakiin ma filayn intaas inaan sii kala maqnaan doono dhibaato badan waa la kulmay soo jeed badan isla hadal badan يعني أنا dhibaato badan qarka u saaran Ilaahay ii soo fududeeyay saa uga soo tagay ma arkin ilaa 2013 saa uga soo tagay ma arkin ciyaalkay ilaa hadda ay Mareykan imaadeen July 29keeda igu horeysay 2016 ma qiyaasi karin maalintii igu horeysay macnaha airportka aan joogay yani ma moodayn in arki doono horta iyagoo nool laakiin markaan arkay way ila noqon weyday waxaan u maleynayaa 3 saac camal waan ooynay waa la aamusin way kadibna guriga nagaan aadnay adiga hadda waa isbaranay marka hore xunugteed isma ilmaha kale waa isnaqaan laakiin tayar ismaana noqon haddana hooyada way garanaysaa walaahi Columbus nolosheeda wuxuu ku jeclahay waa meel safety ah ko hay'adda way caawisay CRIS waan ka shaqaystaa laakiin dhib badan oo ka horeeyay la qabs ما Columbus markay maad dhibka lama kulmin ko dhibkan kala kulmay waa adiga waxaan weyneyn sida adoo driver ayna dad driver ay gaariyaan wata oo rayd haysanin waxaan la inkastoo dhakhtarkii waxaas liga caawinayay luuqad aqoon oo shaqada dhib igu ahayd laakiin hadda intiiba waa ka soo gudbay alxamdulillah waan jeclaa waan ku noolaanayaa insha Allah inta waqtiga ka dhiman inaan ku noolaanayo marka Columbus.
My name is Jhuma Acharya. I am originally from Bhutan. Okay, Bhutan is a very small country in the lap of the Himalayas. It is a small country between India and China. Bhutan was a monarchy country. During the time, the king wanted to screen out the Nepali-speaking population by categorizing them into a different level of citizens. And they specially designed a very specific program to evict Bhutanese, Nepali-speaking Bhutanese from southern Bhutan and other part of the Bhutan by conducting a census. There was another policy which is one people, one nation, which means all the people of the country should look alike, you should dress alike, you speak the same language, should follow the same tradition, and should have faith in the same religion. And they started putting people in the jail, killing them. My brother was put to jail because they found him taking part in the public rally against the government. And then most of the people in the village were all already being evicted from there. They were given an ultimatum notice to leave the village because either they participated in the rally against the government or they were categorized at number 2, number 3, number 4 citizens. There were a couple of nights where security forces like armies are deployed in the village. They will come. The first intention of the armies to come is not to find a criminal or somebody, but they wanted to rape the females. My sister was attempted to rape a couple of times. We saved her. My mom was attempted to rape several times, but we saved her. There were 2 policemen in the uniform. They came to my house and they presented me a letter. The letter states that my brother died in the jail and we have to go and collect the dead body. I took my mom. I went to the jail to collect my brother's dead body. I was 14 years old, just 14 years. It was not a real story. They just wanted to harass people. The village the town part where we were living next was still getting more turmoil with all this thing. Every night there was a military force coming. So we have to hide all the females under the bed or either in the cow shed or wherever. So then we decided to leave. I was in refugee camp. I came to refugee camp in 1992. For 15 years, everybody dreamed of the same thing. Every single refugee dreamed of the same thing, going back to Bhutan. But in 2007, when all the bilateral talks end up saying, Bhutan saying these are terrorists, I'm not taking, they came off their own. Nepal saying, I'm not going to keep them here because these are not my citizens. So we were kind of we are kind of things that would not even accept in a trash bag. Like they don't even put us in a trash bag. We are not eligible to live in the camp, but we are not eligible to work. The UN agency came with the last proposal for a refugee to get third country resettlement. So I applied for this process in 2008 and I came here. My brother found us after 5 years in the camp. He was released from the jail. He was not killed. Fortunately, he is still He's still here in Columbus. We don't have exact number, but I believe 20,000 Bhutanese live in Columbus. I work as a resettlement case manager at Community Refugee and Immigration Service. Yes, I work here, and I hope people hear more about different diverse groups that are living in Columbus. And particularly, I welcome everybody to join us, help these people to find their second life.
My name is Walid Ali, and I am originally from Iraq. The nerve of Iraq after the regime has been left was the United States. They were the people who run Iraq. We didn't have government at that time. So engineers, doctors, everybody was coming from the United States as consultants. So they used to work with Iraqis hand in hand. And in these fields, they need someone to interpret for them. I was a link between them. So I was working face to face with Iraqi people. I never hid it because I was doing the right thing. I wasn't a spy. I wasn't trying to damage other people's life. I never did that. I worked for Iraq, for my country, with the intention of rebuilding Iraq. Some troubles happened, like kind of lists with names starting to be showing up in the area where I used to live. My name was on that list. And then they say, this person is a spy. He works for the United States Army. He's a spy, then we'll need to kill him. Another interpreter house, which was close to my house, they bombed his house. And then 3 days later, then another interpreters were killed. They were at that list. We woke up in the morning and then we found a big can of milk filled up with something, and that was a handmade bomb. We didn't know that. My mom found it in the early morning. And then we called the police and everybody, and they came down. They said, luckily, this bomb didn't work because there is something electrical didn't work. I saw death. I saw death in my eyes many times. One day I wanted to have my hair cut. I took a taxi and I went to like a store, barbershop, and everybody was looking at me. And honest to God, somebody came and he said, "What are you doing here? They are coming to kill you right now." He said, "But nobody knows about me." He said, "They know. They saw you and they will kill you. Try to run away right now." And before I had my haircut, I left the barbershop. I called my wife. I said, "Okay, let's leave Iraq today." And we had no kids, but she was pregnant. Right away, when I left to Yemen, I went to the UNHCR office, United Nations office, and I admitted myself as a refugee. I said, "This is what happened to me and I need your help." 2004, 5, 6, 7, 2008, I went back to the United Nations. I said, "Please, what's going on?" She said, "Why you're still in Yemen? You should have been resettled a long time ago." I waited for 8 months for the security check, and they called me back and they said, "Okay, go to the airport this time." Believe me, when I was in the airport, I didn't know where I am going until they gave us the boarding ticket. And I looked up, the ticket says Columbus, Ohio. I never heard about Columbus, Ohio before. Where that on earth? Am I the same person who came to the United States in the airport with $300 in my pocket? I didn't know what to do, where to start from. No, I am a completely different person now. And this is what the first generation of refugees will suffer all their life. Loss of identity. It's just like a tree when you plant it, and this tree had a very, very deep roots in that ground, and you suddenly take this tree out and you plant it somewhere else. It's not gonna be the same, ever, I think. Better job opportunities in the States. Now I am running my own business. Yes, it's a small business, but it's running. I have very good friends who care about me in the States. My kids have very good life in the United States. Very good education. I am very pleased with it. They speak both Arabic and English. I think what we here in politics from here and there doesn't represent necessarily the reality of the United States. People get affected by these ideas, especially when they get their only input from the media. But yes, there are bad people from my community, yes. But do they represent everyone? No, they represent only themselves. This is what I want to tell. And the majority of the refugee community, they're very nice people because because they're grateful to the country who allowed them to get in. And also they want to pay back the country who allowed them to get in and help them start their life over because of the miseries they had overseas.
Having worked with refugees for so many years, I know the value they contribute to our community, and as of late, I've been doing a lot of talking to anybody who will listen about the economic impact that refugees bring. They start businesses 2 times more often than someone in the general population, contribute $1.6 billion to our local Franklin County economy. But at the core, refugee resettlement is a humanitarian, life-saving gesture. And I want people to take away from this the individual stories and to ask, who are we as a people? And are we going to be there in that time of need? Isn't that what we're supposed to do?